welcome to Ep101, and this is an update on the 48 Ford, and we got some work done, not a whole lot. I haven't been feeling well. Usually my treatments kind of take all the wind out of my sails, and the drug that I'm on, Ep2, it messes with your thyroid a lot. So they have me on thyroid medicine to compensate, but sometimes it still gets the best of me, and I just don't feel like doing crap. So I haven't done a whole lot, but I got a little bit done, and mostly I got a lot of this done before treatment because I knew how I was going to be feeling. So anyway, let's get to it. We've got we got some of the body parts painted. We got, as you can see here, the fender, floor pan. We got the hood. We got the doors painted. I don't have the body painted yet. The main body, it's still in its a primer gray. We haven't got that painted. The good news is that I found the molding for over here, the original molding. So I found it on the floor, clear across the desk, almost going out my room here. I don't know how it got clear the hell over there, but I found it, thank goodness. So we got it put back on. We've got the chassis pretty much done. As you can see, we got the wheels on it. So we did a lot of work. Now I'm just kind of coasting a little bit till I feel better. I'm going to paint the body today, but that's going to probably be about it. But anyway, let's go over all that stuff that I have done real quick. We'll start with, I guess, the paint first. I couldn't decide on a color. I didn't want a metallic color. Just about all my paints are metallics, and it's like I really don't want. This is kind of an old school kind of car, so I didn't want a metal flake or a metallic or a pearl. I mean, if I was turning this into a show rod, different story. But it's pretty much box stock, so I didn't want a metallic or a metal flake. I wanted just a solid color, and I don't have many of them. And the colors I do have, I didn't like any of them. So when I was working on the exhaust, which we'll get to next year, I was looking at the block color, thinking, that block color would make a pretty good body color. And the more I got to looking at it, the more I liked it. So I used the engine enamel on the body, and that's what we're using. So I thought this was VHT, but it's actually Duplicolor, and they call it Duplicolor making an engine enamel, but apparently they do, because there it is. And I have no idea where I got this from. I don't even remember buying it. But as I said, here it is. So it's a Ford Dark Blue DE 1606. It's an engine enamel. It has ceramic in it. It dries in a half hour, which is pretty good for enamel. And goes on pretty good. Goes on fairly smooth for an enamel. Spray can. Just make sure that you're out in the garage or someplace well ventilated, because it can get pretty stinky on you. So, but it works good. So I'm looking at my viewfinder, I'm looking at the cap in the car, and yeah, the car don't look anything shade-wise of what I'm seeing on camera. It looks much brighter on my camera, but it really is dark. In fact, the cap is actually closer to what I'm seeing on the body. So you can see the difference between the body and the cap. So it's like the cap, even though the camera shows differently. But we got the fenders painted, got the hood painted, got the doors painted. We just have to do the main body and get all that painted. So that's the paint. Now this is just sitting on there. We'll look at the frame and all that other stuff. Have to be careful with this fender because it's still fresh paint, even though it's dry. Yeah, the frame chassis came out pretty good. The only issue I had was working with this 427. I really don't think this kit's made for the 427. I think that was just something as an afterthought IMC threw in here to sell the kit, maybe. I don't know, but you have to do a lot of fiddling around to get that 427 to work with this kit. Now the flathead V8, you're not going to have any issues. It'll go right in there easy peasy. But the 427, you got to do a little bit more work. But we got it in there. I had to open up the transmission mount. It wasn't big enough for this transmission, so I had to open it up. We've got, let me put my glasses on so I can make sure I don't blur my camera. We've got it wired up. The pre-wired distributor I got from Kenny May over at Moonwalker Models. So we've got, that was kind for him to send me a distributor. Ooh, I'm blurring the camera. There we go. So we got it all wired up. We got that one wire sticking straight up for the coil. This kit doesn't give you a coil, so I have to come up with a coil. I'll probably mount it on a firewall. But that's the 427. As I said, we had to open up the transmission mount to get that transmission fit down in there. Now the exhaust, I couldn't get it to work, so I had to come up with my own exhaust. These are the kit mufflers. These exhaust pipes here, I'll keep blurring the camera, let me move back up a little bit. I don't know what they're off of, but they go down much further, and that's what I needed to get past all this junk. Luckily they fit the block, so we've got different exhaust on it. These are the kit mufflers, and then the turnouts I made myself. And nothing's glued in yet because I have to paint it all, but I have side exits coming out. And they come out roughly, well, you saw where they come out. Just before the fender, or rear fender, so that, about where the quarter window is, so that looks pretty good. And they still need trimmed up a little bit, but I'll do that when I go to glue them on, or I'll trim them up. But that's the dual exhaust. The frame, I just dusted it with red oxide. I want some of that black to show through. So it's just been dusted with red oxide to kind of give it a old kind of look. But yeah, that's that. The gas tank we still have to paint. I might just give a dry brushing of I don't know, like a gunmetal, a dry brushing of gunmetal maybe. I don't want it too bright. And then of course leaving the black underneath and just overspraying, and just misting, not overspraying, misting the red oxide. You can see all that really nice bolt detail in the frame. It has a lot of bolts in it, so it's kind of cool. We got the wheels working. Those are turnable. I took the time to clean up the spindles and get them working, so now we have workable wheels. The white walls, those are the kit stickers, believe it or not. I couldn't believe the stickers were still good. I did have to use a little Canopy 560 on the stickers because the adhesive wasn't sticky enough, but it was still sticky. Usually when these things get old, you can't even get it off the paper, so I was really surprised how easy they peeled off without sticking to the paper, and they still had sticky on the back. So I thought, you know, to make sure these stickers don't go anywhere, I'm just going to go ahead and put a little coating of 560 on the back of the stickers and then put them on the tire, and that's what I did. I could have painted the white walls on because with these tires it would have been really easy to paint it, but I figured the stickers they were given with the kit, why not use them? They're still good, so I just used the stickers instead. Although painting would have been just as easy, but the stickers were quicker than trying to paint them. So the tires, these are the kit tires. I wanted to go with a little wider tire, but I wasn't going to fight with the body neither. I wasn't going to completely redesign the rear end because you would have to get a wider tire in there. I'd have to tear apart the whole rear suspension and come up with something new to bring the tires in to put a wider tire. And it's like I didn't feel like going through all that. So there's nothing wrong with the stock tires. They're perfectly fine. They look good on the car. I just wanted them a little wider, but that's okay. We can go with this the kit tires. Again, that was given with the kit, so why not use them? But that's where we're at on the 48. We got the back end 1/8 of an inch up, so it's not really jacked up, but it is 1/8 of an inch higher in the back than what it should be. So I think it looks pretty good. I don't want to go any higher than 1/8 of an inch. So we got the tape on the floor pad because I didn't want any blue paint getting on the black carpeting in there in case I decided to go with a black interior. I wouldn't have to paint the carpeting, so that's why I got it all taped up in here. I think that is it. I just have to come up with a coil now for the coil wire here. I'll probably mount it to the firewall. I did take, I think Sean mentioned this, but I did take and fill in that gap. It doesn't matter whether it's the coupe or the convertible. You'll end up with a gap between the cowl and the firewall. Because the firewall, I don't think they molded it to the contour of the cowl, so you end up with this big old gap. And it's really not that big of an issue because it gets covered up when you put the hood on anyway. But, you know, I figured, well, why not fix it? Because with acrylic putty, shit like this, it's really easy to fix. You just take and put the putty in there with the Vallejo, take a wet finger, rub it across there, and you're done. And the gap is filled. Because being that you don't see it when the hood's on, you don't have to get it perfect. The main thing I just wanted was it to be covered up, and we're all good to go. So, but that's where we're at on the 48. I hope to get that body painted today, and then we'll have all the painting done, and then we can get back to continue on getting the radiator in and getting the wheels painted and all the other fun stuff. So. I think that is it. Is that it? That's it. Alright guys, take care. We'll see you in the next video.